graced today to talk about oily skin, acne-prone skincare. And I have a lot of items to kind of share with you. I have struggled my whole life with my skin. Looking at myself in the monitor right now, I definitely have some dark spots. I don't have Botox. I've never had anything done to my face. And the main reason is I struggled with severe hormonal acne for a long time. It's what they would call hormonal acne. But, you know, in my opinion, like, I was put on a lot of medications for hormones, for hormonal acne, cystic acne, and it really didn't end up helping. And in my opinion, if it is actually hormonal acne and they put you on a medication to balance like testosterone, estrogen, it should help. And those medications never helped me. I've been on a slew of medications, which is where a lot of my dark spots come from, because I had terrible acne scars from just severe, large, painful cystic acne. If you've ever had that, you know. I did eventually get put on 3 rounds of Accutane, which is very, very serious. This was, I think the last round was like 6 or 7 years ago, and it's scary. That is some hardcore stuff. But I was in pain. I had these huge cystic acnes that would break out very much under the skin. Like, if you looked at me on the surface, you couldn't see it, but I felt like the pain of the large, like almost boils under your skin. And it's embarrassing. It's painful. It makes you not want to wear makeup. And I was just tired of going through this hormonal treatment. They would run blood tests, and you know, if it is hormonal acne, you should have fluctuations in your like high testosterone and low estrogen. I didn't have any of that, but I was still listening to doctors. And my biggest piece of advice, if anyone has suffered what I did, just get more than one opinion. And if you have like an intuition, an intuitive feeling that the doctor is dismissing you or not wanting to listen to like your concerns, especially about your skin, just go find somebody else, is really like the easiest thing I can explain. So after a lot of trials and tribulations, I did find a really amazing dermatologist. 2 of them. One of them was in Denver, which is where I was born and raised, and he helped me significantly. He was actually the one that put me on 2 rounds of Accutane. And then I moved to Las Vegas and found another really wonderful dermatology office, and they put me on 1 final round of Accutane. I am not going to tell you that it's your answer. I will say that it did help me. It is hardcore though. I mean, you have to get monthly pregnancy tests. You can't get pregnant on it. It can cause infertility if you're not careful with how you're doing things. It is a scary medication. However, coming out on the other side, thank God I took it, because I do get breakouts here and there, but it's nothing, like, it's manageable. So now going forward with you guys, you can kind of know where I'm at. I have always had severely oily skin my whole life, and I've always suffered from sensitive skin as well. So oftentimes when I do my makeup videos, you're really gonna only see me use a couple of different foundations. I love Juvia's Place, I love NARS, I love Pretty Fresh by ColourPop, and that's because my face is so sensitive that oftentimes if I switch a product, usually it's a foundation, it will cause a massive outbreak, and I don't like to do that to my skin because then it takes a few weeks to get rid of it. So today I'm going to talk about my skin prep. So that's why I'm barefaced right now. I'm going to go all the way into even like some moisturizers that I like, my summer routine, and the only SPF that works for me, along with some primers, because I feel like that is all a part of skincare. So let's get started. CeraVe is probably one of my top favorites. You're gonna see a few things from CeraVe, but it's really inexpensive. This is dermatology referred, so this one is particular from my dermatologist. It's foaming facial cleanser for normal to oily skin. When you're talking about foaming cleansers, usually they dry you out really bad, but this one isn't the same, so that's probably why it's labeled for normal to oily. This is my favorite CeraVe wash. I use it morning and night. It is gentle, it's oil control, but it also helps remove remnants of any makeup that you have left over. I already used this step this morning. I'm gonna pop in some eye drops. My favorite are Lumify, but I'm actually out of those. I got a Target order to go and they're waiting for me as we speak at Target. I feel like eye drops are really important for goth makeup specifically because we wear such heavy, dark makeup, so I really preach good eye drops. The first thing that I do in my steps is some sort of eye treatment. So there is a caffeine treatment by Ordinary. This is all suggested from my dermatologist here in Vegas. I love this one. It's about $6 or $7 at Ulta. There's another cheaper one that's a Deep Puff Eye Serum from Essence. It's probably lower on my list, but it is less expensive. But my two favorites are the Good Molecules Wake Me Up Eye Gel. It's really inexpensive at Ulta. I love this stuff. And the other one that's like my top favorite is the Rock Hydrating Plumping Eye Cream. Now this is a little bit more expensive. This is $20. However, you only need like a pea-sized amount for when you put it on. And I always start my prep with an eye cream. If there's anything you can afford, please make it be like a really good hydrating eye cream or eye prep, because you can even use this at nighttime. I use this sometimes before bed. I always put on an eye treatment. As a cosmetologist, skincare is really important. Please make sure you're prioritizing skincare. So Rock is a really great brand. I actually want to buy some more Rock stuff. The Super Peptide Serum by Good Molecules and Hyaluronic Acid Serum. Now you can also find these from The Ordinary. I just happen to have these sitting here. So I like to use the Super Peptide Serum, just a couple of drops, and then I'll mix that in with my Hyaluronic Acid Serum. And that is where I kind of start my progression for the day of prepping my skin. This is what I do before I make my TikTok videos and I see you guys online. And the biggest thing, in my opinion, when you're doing skin prep like this is you need to let it sort of dry down before you start adding more and more layers. So I'll be back in a minute after this layer sort of dries down. My next step would be either an SPF or a moisturizer. I do have some days that I'm not going out in the sun, especially in the summertime. It's really hot during the day, so sometimes I like to run my errands at night. My personal favorite moisturizers and other skincare is by Versed. Now Versed is another interesting sort of over-the-counter, but high-end over-the-counter. You can buy Versed at Target. I do have a code for Versed. If you want the code for Versed, it's right here. I'll put it here on the screen. They have the only SPF that I can use. And I know that sounds crazy, but if you have oily skin, you know. I just recently tried the new e.l.f. one that they came out that has like kind of the illuminizer in it, and it didn't work for me. When you have oily skin, and SPF, when you put it on, it will literally just like dry, it'll run off your face. Like the oils for some reason don't mix with the SPF. So I've literally tried every SPF on the market and it makes me so frustrated when they don't work. This one does not do that. So this is literally the only SPF that I can use. Guards Up Daily Mineral Sunscreen SPF 35 by Versed. And what's kind of interesting is like, and I wish that they would have been acknowledged before e.l.f., but they have the illuminizer in it as well. But this is more expensive. I think this is about 20 bucks, but this big thing will last you for a while. So I like how it's also semi-tinted. So now I'm just gonna start patting it on the face and slowly massaging it into the skin. It's really important to have sunscreen everywhere, especially living in Vegas. I even go down my neck and on my ears. You can even see how sensitive my skin is right now. It just turned red just from massaging in product. It's crazy. Now the next step is to let this seep in. Another moisturizer that Versed has that I love, it's called the Weekend Glow, and it's really good. It's got vitamin C and cloudberry oil. This is a vegan, cruelty-free brand as well, no animal testing, which I love. But this is really good as well. So the days I'm not going in the sun, I'll use this moisturizer instead of the SPF. To be honest, it's really hot out in Vegas right now. Like, we've been hitting the 110s, which is very normal for the desert heat. So I'm not going to use a primer. I know that sounds crazy, but with my oily skin, there's just no reason to use a primer with this heat, because the heat will hit the primer and it will just melt off my face. So technically my base is the SPF. However, I will share my favorite primers with you. I love the Milk Grip Primer for oily skin. I don't have that in front of me, but my other favorites are the Power Grip by e.l.f., the other new one that they have, that's the Pink by e.l.f., and I also really like Milani Chill Out. You can find this at Walmart for about $9. I'm almost out of this. I don't know what it is about, it's silicone free. And so when you have oily skin, sticking to like silicone free products is your best bet. How do you know if it's silicone free even in like a foundation? Read the back of the bottle of the ingredients, and if the very first ingredient is water, as a cosmetologist, that's a tip for you guys, then you'll know that it's got either silicone free or very low silicone. So that's how I shop for my products. I always look to see if the very first ingredient is water. Now, normally after my primer, I would also put on some sort of a illuminizer. I really love them lately. My favorite is definitely e.l.f. Halo Glow. I have used the Charlotte Tilbury one, and I feel like these are like literal dupes. So you're just saving a lot more money with the Halo Glow. Once again, in the summer heat, there's no way I'm gonna put an extra layer on my face. I do like the Glotion by L'Oreal, but I'm gonna be honest, I favor the e.l.f. more. I feel like it has more of a glow, but they're both really good options. For summertime, I also go in with a skin tint versus an actual foundation, so tinted moisturizer. Two favorites are Pretty Fresh by ColourPop, and I also love NARS. So for today, I'll definitely be going in with ColourPop. And then for places that need more build up, I will add just a little bit of concealer, and I will not bake with setting powder in the summer. It's just way too hot. The last thing though that I want to share with skin prep is my primers or setting sprays. I do love Urban Decay All Nighter, but I'm gonna be honest, I don't get really excited to go spend like $20 or $25 on a setting spray. So I love Milani Make It Last as a fixing spray. This is the big one at Target for like $15. But I saw online some people were comparing Urban Decay All Nighter to Stay All Night e.l.f. And let me tell you what, this is the best setting spray on the market right now. It's also got a very, very fine spritzer, so you don't feel like you're like getting hosed down when you're putting this on your face. That concludes my skin prep, honestly. I know that you guys will probably want to hear about the pigments. I do mix this in my foundations, but I don't use these in the summer. It's just way too hot here in Vegas. I keep it very, very simple, and I make sure that my SPF is my number1 priority. Do I go out without makeup? Sometimes, and I will just literally use the SPF. I've used this for probably 1.5 years now, and it's the only SPF that works for me. So I'm not just toting it because I have a code. In fact, when you're working with brands like this, I only work with brands that see that I'm already using their product, which makes me appreciate them more. So Versed, and if you don't want to order it online, just go pick this up at Target. It's a really easy fix. I will do an evening routine as well. My evening routine can kind of get a little bit more complicated. I have a lot of other things like peels that I incorporate into my setting and stuff. There's one last thing that I want to talk about that I use sometimes, and in the summer I can get a little bit picky with it, but I love AHA and BHA peel pads. These are from Pacifica. They are the Glow Baby peel pads. Technically, you can use these once a day, and it would be your very first step to prep with, is use one of these pads every day before you put on your makeup, before you start your skincare routine. For me in the summer though, I get worried about peeling all of the ickiness off my face. I guess I'm trying to keep an extra layer of protection against the sun and the SPF, because really that's what's going to cause your skin to age, right? Is not using SPF. So I try to do this every other day, every couple of days in the summer. Now in the winter, yeah, I'll use these every day. It's a really great prep for your skin with the AHA and the BHA. They're brightening peel pads, so they'll just really give your skin a really nice, great canvas to start out every day. It makes your skin feel really fresh. It takes any of like the dead skin layers off. But once again, in the summer, I'm only doing this every other day, every couple of days. But these are also vegan, cruelty-free. You can find these at Ulta. I'm really trying to switch most of my products to vegan and cruelty-free. Although I still have some remnants left over, I'm not going to waste what I already have. But I'm really trying to go vegan, cruelty-free, because I feel like it's just 2023. Like, these brands should all be doing vegan and cruelty-free at this point. So that concludes my daily prep. I will do a nighttime prep for you guys as well. If there's anything I missed that you want to talk about, make sure you leave me in the comments below. And yeah, thanks guys for tuning in. I'll catch you guys next time.